Hello guys, welcome to the video tutorial for Salat10 version 4.0. When you first launch the app, you might get this dialog box that says, the location services. That usually means that you just don't have the location services enabled on your device, which, means that the app cannot use your GPS or something to try to get your location in real time and accurately. So if you want to fix that, you can always just click yes, and that should just take you to the location services. You can just turn it out right here. And that should fix the issue. So in the future, if you ever launch the app, you shouldn't ever get that pop-up dialog anymore. Anyway, so if you don't go there, the app is going to take you to this screen, which is the settings screen, because some settings are not enabled. So as you go through, it's going to actually just show you some tutorials on how to use these controls and what each of these controls mean. If you don't want to see it, you can just press and hold on it, and then just go suppress tutorials, and there say yes, and that should cancel out all the tutorials for you, and you're not going to be annoyed by these things. But if you want to actually learn how to use the app, those tutorials are really helpful for that. So when you're in the settings screen, basically what you'll have to do is you want to set the daylight savings time. This is if the app is actually giving results of an hour ahead or an hour behind. You'll want to go, DST +1, which means that you want to add 1 to the final result due to daylight savings in your country or in your residence. Then there is a calculation angle. So depending on where you are, you might want to choose different calculation angles for there. So for example, if you're in the Middle East, they usually will go by the Qura schedule, the angles and everything that are used for there. And if you're in North America, like Canada, USA, or some parts of the UK, you can use the North American standard. Then if you're in Egypt and certain parts of Middle East or anything, or in Africa, there's the Egyptian General Authority of Survey, and there's different parts. So choose the one that's for your region, and you'll get the most accurate results. These mainly will affect the Fajr and Isha timings, but it might affect some of the other ones as well. So choose the correct one for your region. And then for the Asr ratio, simply is that if you're going to take the stronger opinion, which is the correct opinion, which is the Asr is going to begin when the height of the object is actually equal to the height of the shadow of the object. And if the other opinion, which is the weaker opinion, is the Hanafi method, and if you want to use that, that's what you would choose in the dialog box here. The night starts at Isha is, for some of the scholars actually take the opinion that the night actually begins at Isha time and not at Maghrib time. So that will affect the calculation of the half night, the middle of the night, the timing that shows up for there. So if you take that opinion, then, you would want to check that checkbox. And after that is simply everything to do with adhan. So the different times when you want the adhan to play and when you don't want it to play. So for example, if on Jum'ah you don't want the Zuhr adhan to play, then you can enable that because you don't want to interrupt the khatib. And then there is all custom profiles, which means that if you have any custom profile enabled on your device, and custom profiles is basically this: when you're here and you go to where is the custom profile? Right here in notifications. You can create your own profile here by clicking add. If you have one of these custom profiles enabled and you want the adhan to go off in that, then you want to make sure you check that. Otherwise, you keep it off. And if you want, for example, in the silent mode, you also want to play the adhan. In vibrate mode, you want to play the adhan. Then you want to make sure you keep those on. And if you don't want to, for example, have adhan playing in the vibrate mode, you simply uncheck that, and that's it. Then the adhan volume. If the adhan is too loud, then you can always adjust it here. If it's too, and if you need it to be louder, then you can always set it to 100. What the most important thing in the screen is actually the set location, because the set location is actually going to give you where it is that you are located, and it's going to give you accurate timings based on your actual location. So you can, by default, the app is going to use your IP address to try to calculate exactly where you are, but that might not be accurate. It might just be your city or a close proximity in terms of your city. It might not be very accurate to exactly your location. So you can, for example, put 25 by or something, and that'll give you a very accurate result depending on exactly where you are. And so you can use that now to to actually get your location. You can also use the GPS refresh button here, and what that's going to do is it's going to use your actual device GPS to get you much more accurate results depending on where you are. And that's really it. Once you have those set, when you go back, you will actually see all the calculations and everything done properly. So here's the main screen. If you notice this pop-up box here that shows up, this warning, this is basically saying that there's some permission that you didn't enable, so the app is not going to be able to function as it would normally and to its full capability. If you want to get rid of that, or if you want to fix that, simply click on it, and that's going to launch the permissions screen in your settings app. So as you can see, there's been a couple of the permissions that has been disabled, and that might just be because the user did not really know what they were. So I'll go ahead and explain it. Here, the run in background is simply crucial for adhan notifications. So for example, if you want, whenever Dhuhr comes in, you want to be notified in your hub or something that Dhuhr is here, or such and such sunrise, it's time for sunrise or something like that. You need to make sure you turn on run in background. And also for the adhan to play while the app is closed, this permission must be set to on. Location, this is for if the app, for example, needs to look up your GPS and things like that, or access your location services, so the native maps. If you want to use those, you can use the location here, and you need to make sure that that is turned on. And also, just as a side note, for the location screen, this is also for this specific choose location spot, which uses your native location picker. So in order to use this as well, you'll need to make sure that that location permission is set to on. Calendar, this is used, as you'll see, for exporting the events to your native device calendar. So this way, even if the app is closed, you'll still get some pop-ups that say, it's time for Maghrib, things like that, and you don't even have to use the app at all. It'll just be something integrated right into your calendar. And the shared files, this is mainly used for the custom adhan. So if you want to, specify a specific adhan and override the default ones that are given to you, you need to make sure this is enabled, so you can actually use the device can go on your on your file system and let you pick out a specific MP3 or something that you'd want to use. That's really it for the permissions. So you want to make sure all of those are enabled. By the way, this screen right here, it's just a nice screen that tells you all the different places where users are using the app, and kind of shows you the ecosystem. So for example, somebody in South Africa is using it, and right now, in Cambridge, it's somebody's using it. It's Asr for them. But if you just look in UAE, for example, it's almost Isha. So it's a nice, interesting view. Somebody in just the half of the night in Singapore. So it just shows you a breakdown of where the users are that are using the app in real time. This updates almost every 10 minutes or something like that. Anyway, so let's close that, and let's close the settings page, and this is the main screen. So as you can see at the top here is just one of the a random code that's going to show up every time you open the app. It'll be a random code, and it's just a nice benefit that you can see. On the bottom here, this is actually the current Hijri date for your device. And then if you want to actually use a Hijri converter, the Hijri calendar, and you want to see it, depending on what today is, you can simply click on it. This is today's date. And then all you do is you whichever date it is that you want to use, it'll show you that date in Hijri format. So whatever it is, you can choose it, and that should just change, and that you'll get the new the Hijri date that you're looking for. So that's just to be able to use as a Hijri calendar. If you want to adjust this date that's calculated, if let's just say it's one day too early or one day too late, you simply click on the edit button here. And you can now set, okay, I want it to be 3 days after its calculated time, 1 day after its calculated time. I want it to be 2 days before its calculated time. So you can do all, if it's exactly the way it should be, you can just leave it as it is. These ones are simply notifications that you want to use. For example, every time it's sunrise, if you want to be notified on your BlackBerry hub, you can simply enable this. And that will just show a notification anytime. Let's just say it's sunrise. If you don't want it, you simply take that off, and that will show you the X. If this calculated time also needs to be adjusted, let's just say sunrise needs to be a few minutes after than what the app is calculated, click on the edit button, and then you can now edit it. So just say 5 minutes after, and as you can see, this thing automatically adjusts itself. Same thing with Dhuhr. If you want Dhuhr to play the adhan, then this is the icon for the adhan. If you want it to completely not have any adhan or anything, simply take that off. And then that's all. And then I'll show you how to actually set that for notification in a little bit. Also, you can set the iqama time. So for example, if you want to set the time in which the musalla or the masjid that you pray at prays at a fixed time after the adhan goes off. So for example, if your masjid prays at 1:30 p.m., you simply set 1:30 p.m. here, and then that'll just set it. And you'll see it when it's closer to the time. It'll actually say that, in Jama'ah, starting in the Iqamah starting in so and so minutes. Also, if you want to edit the Dhuhr timing and it's actually off by a few minutes, you can adjust it right here by saying, okay, it's going to be 1 minute after its calculated time, 7 minutes or 10 minutes. You can go up to 10 minutes or its calculated time. So let's just say 3 minutes there. Now, for more things, what you can do is you can actually see a list of all the different timings that are coming up for today, tomorrow, the day after, the day before. All you have to do that is you can either swipe up or you can just click on here. And when you click on here, now it's asking, do you want to enable Adhan for all the different timings, all the different events? Now, some people do not want the Adhan to go off at all. If you're one of those people and you don't want the Adhan, you simply say no here. Also, if you don't want the notifications to show up on your BlackBerry hub, you simply uncheck this. If you keep this checked, what it'll do is it won't show you play the Adhan, but it'll keep notifying you every single time that such and such event is coming up. Like, the Dhuhr came in or Maghrib came in on your BlackBerry hubs. If you don't want either of those, you simply uncheck that and say yes. If you want to enable Adhan for all of them, all the different events, you simply say yes here, and that's all. So let me just show you here. If I say no, that simply will change everything to be turned off, every single one of them. Now, and as you can see for Dhuhr, also the Iqamah is set, so it'll show you what time the Dhuhr is going to come in. And if you want to enable specific ones, for example, I want the Fajr Adhan and the Maghrib Adhan to be enabled, I simply I select those two, click enable, and now these two are enabled. If I want to disable them, but I want to keep notifications, for example, I simply click mute, and I want to say yes if I want to show the notifications in the BlackBerry hub. So that will now show you this icon, which just simply means it'll show you notifications. I can also copy individual elements to the clipboard. So for example, I want to copy these events. I simply go copy, and that'll copy it right to my clipboard. And I can paste it somewhere else. I can share it with somebody. Same thing with the share. If I click share on those specific events, let's just say on remember, it'll just paste that into there. So exactly the events that you're looking for. So let's just say we'll turn these notifications off for now. You can also change the sound for the Adhan, specific sound to whatever it is that you're looking for. So instead of, if for example, you don't want to use the default sound that's being used, you can simply select the ones that you want to change it for, go change sound here in the menu, and then you can actually choose whichever one that it is that you want to use. For example, the Sheikh Albani, I can just go, as you can see, it's previewing it. If you want to use a custom one, you can always go custom, and then choose it from your device, the MP3 that you want. But let's just say we want to stick to this one. We simply click accept, and that should be it. And that just sets the Adhan for you. If you want to reset those sounds, you simply go here and go reset sound, and that'll reset it back to the default sounds. Furthermore, so this is for that specific day, today, Friday, let's say. The next day, this is where it's showing for Saturday, the next one. So as you can see, the Adhan and all these things remain for every single day, and they're not just for today. It'll be set for every single day, so you don't have to manually set anything. And as you can see, as you're scrolling, there's a random benefit that shows up every single time. It's not the same one. So see another different one, and if you go up, you'll see it's not the same one as last time. It'll be a completely random one. So it's a nice benefit that lets you get some random codes from the setup from there. Furthermore, if you want to now change some things, for example, while you're here, you can also edit like this. You can set the Iqamah times like this by simply going set Iqamah, and for Fajr, let's just say, I want to set it for 4:50, and then you set that, and that'll set the Iqamah there. You can also edit using here. You can also, remove the Iqamah. So if you don't want that, simply hit remove Iqamah, and that removes it. Also, if you want to set the Fajr timing, edit the Fajr timing, you can also press and hold, go edit, and you can edit it this way as well, just like we showed you before. So this gives you an overall picture of how all that stuff works. Now, if you swipe down from the top, this is where you'll get the menu things to actually customize everything. So you'll get your settings, which is the screen we were on. So you can change some of these settings that you had here before. If you hit back, you can also have the help, and in help is a bunch of the other features of the app. So here you'll have, for example, the different, the FAQs and things like that in regards to the prayers. So if there's any, fiqh issues and everything that are discussed regarding it, you can always click here and get something. So you'll need actually Quran 10 installed in order to get these things. You won't be able to just do it without this additional app. And what that's going to do is going to actually launch the Quran 10 app and launch it to that specific article that is being mentioned here. So you want to, if you want to use that, you have to make sure that you have, here, let me show you, the Quran 10 app installed. Otherwise, it's not going to work at all. And then let me show you how that's going to work here. Also, there are, just description of the prayer, things like that you might find interesting. Like, for example, some PDFs that you might find interesting in terms of how to pray for the new Muslim, things like that. See right here by Dr. Salat10. If you want to now switch back to the main screen after you're in this article and you want to go back to the list, you can also just click here, press enter, and then you can switch. So, for example, Sujood as-Sahw, how do you pray that? You want to switch back, press again. You can also search for a specific thing that you're looking for. For example, let's just say I'm looking for silent, and right here. So there's two matches that get that show up. If you also are looking for a specific scholar, for example, Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen, and then that'll search for all the names and everything for Shaykh Uthaymeen. Also, the compass. If you want to now know the direction of the Qibla, on the simulator, it's not going to show up properly. But if you simply click on compass, it should launch the screen, and then you'll be able to see exactly the angle that you need to look at, and tilt your device to the correct location, the correct direction, and you'll be able to get where the direction correctly is. Now, don't 100% rely on it, because there's always issues like magnetic interference and things like that. It might not always give you the accurate results. Make sure you do use everything around you, like which way the sun is setting, to know which way is east, which way is north, and then this way that'll give you a much better idea, an accurate idea where it is that which direction you should be praying. And that really is pretty much it. If you want to now, for example, just show you the other things. If you are experiencing any issues, you can click on bug reports, and here you can actually see the current list of bugs that are open against the device. You can also either submit an issue directly here, or what we would suggest is actually going to submit logs, and then this will actually go directly here. You can put on your email address. You can be contacted. You can attach screenshots and everything that are here that you can send to us just so we see what's going on the device in terms of the bug. And also, let me show you what you can do is when you open the app again. So, for example, in this situation, you can also see click on this individual, and that'll show you all the different things that are known about them in terms of the quotes, in terms of who's their student, who were the teachers, what any other articles that they were mentioned in, when they died. So a brief biography of them. And in order to see this, once again, you'll need the Quran 10 app installed. Otherwise, it's going to prompt you to install it, and I'll give you a link, and you have to install it before any of these features will work. And that's pretty much it. So if you leave the app running like this, when the adhan time comes, it should just in the background play the adhan, and you should be able to hear it even while the adhan is going. Even while the app is not open. And now an important thing is, if the adhan is actually playing, you need to use the mute key on your device. There's a volume key on the right side, and on the top there's a volume up, volume down, and there's a key in the middle. What you need to use is the volume down key in the middle if you want to cancel the adhan while it's playing. And of course, if you don't want the adhan at all, you can always just come here and then turn it off the way we did. Just to show you the calendar feature that's available in the calendar export, just to show you how it looks. If you just press and hold on the preview here for today's date, you'll get several features here. So, for example, you'll be able to copy the date to your clipboard. You can also press and hold and share that, remember, the same way, the date if you want to share that. And you can also just go export. So if you go export here, you'll actually be able to set the reminders right to your device calendar. So you select the calendar that you want to sync it with right here. And then you select how many days it is you want to export. So for example, let's just say you want to export for 1 month. You simply set that here, and then let's just say that, and then you select exactly which events it is that you want to export. So the Friday Dua reminder is simply just to let you know that an hour before an hour before Maghrib on Friday specifically, there is that period of time when the Dua is accepted. So if you wanted to get a reminder for that every single time, you can also check that, and you can say that certain 14 minutes before Maghrib that you want it, or maybe 25 minutes before Maghrib, or 28 minutes, however much you want. You can set that here. So let's just say we wanted to export it for Friday, Dhuhr, and Isha. So what you would do is you'd select them, hit export, and that's now exporting everything right to your calendar. Now, just to show you how this works, you'll see right here. See now already that you see that tomorrow the Isha time and the Dhuhr time and everything is now set. And at that specific time, you'll actually get an alert, a little pop-up that just shows up, even if the app is closed, about that. And if you wanted to ever clear these, all you simply do is you press and hold on it. When you're here, you just press and hold on it, and you go clear exported events, and you go yes. And what that's going to do is going to remove it all from your calendar. And now you shouldn't, if you just give it a few seconds, it should just sync up and it's not going to be there anymore. And that is how you export it to the calendar. And that's pretty much it. If you have any other questions, you can always go here into help and then send us an email at support@canadainc.org. You can also file the bug reports if you have any issues and you have any questions. We will always get back to you. If you actually are, you actually like the app and everything, you can always hit review and then give us a good review to help us improve the app. If you enjoy the app and you want to support development, you can click on the donate button here and then donate anything that you would like to contribute towards the development of the app. And that's pretty much it. If you have any other questions, to reach out to us. We want to thank you for using the app. We hope that you will use some of the other apps that we have.